In the fight against climate change and pollution, plastic has emerged as the main antagonist. It's perhaps the most commonly used material. Easy access and ease of use is why people continue to use it, ignoring the devastating impact plastic waste has on the planet. An unprecedented rise in plastic pollution has been uncovered by scientists. They have calculated that there are more than 170 trillion plastic particles afloat in the oceans. 170 trillion. Research carried out by the Five Guys Institute, published in the journal PLOS ONE, evaluates trends of ocean plastic from 1979 to 2019. The team analyzed the data from nearly 12,000 sampling points in the Atlantic, Pacific and Indian Oceans, as well as the Mediterranean Sea. In the research, the authors noted a rapid increase in marine plastic pollution, blaming plastics industry for failing to recycle or design for recyclability. Moreover, the studies also observed that without urgent policy action, the rate at which plastics enter the oceans could increase by around 2.6 times between now and 2040. Plastic pollution has soared in the last few decades, especially single-use plastics. But at the rate at which plastics are being produced, waste management systems have not kept pace with it. Due to lack of waste management systems, globally, only about 9% of the plastics are recycled each year. Now, how does huge amounts of plastic waste end up in the oceans? The bulk of it comes from land. The waste is swept into rivers by rain, wind, overflowing storm drains, which are then transported out to the sea. According to experts, once plastic gets into the ocean, it does not decompose. Instead, it tends to break down into tiny particles, which makes it difficult to clean up. Moreover, marine life can get entangled in plastic as well, or even mistake it for food. Plastic can also leach toxic chemicals into the water. And it isn't just an environmental disaster, it's a huge climate issue. Fossil fuels serve as the raw ingredient for most plastics, and they produce planet-heating pollution throughout their life cycle, from production to disposal. Our next report will detail how plastic ends up in the oceans and what can be done to solve this problem.
Most plastics can be made from hydrocarbons present in natural gas, oil and coal. They are made up of chains and molecules linked together called polymers. There are two main families of polymers: thermoplastics, accounting for some 80% of global plastics consumption. They melt when heated and then harden when cooled. They can be recycled. Thermosets are substances that set permanently when heated. In 1950, the industry produced 2 million tons of plastics per year. That figure stands at more than 450 million tons. Plastics can be made into a huge variety of useful products. But here's the rub. Millions of tons of plastics end up in the oceans and landfill sites every year. A plastic beverage bottle takes more than 400 years to degrade. Less than 10% of plastic waste is currently recycled. Why? Because of the chemical complexity of polymers. Recycling presents major technical and environmental challenges, so in the end, it can be cheaper to make new plastic than to recycle it. What can be done to help solve the problem? Massive investment in so-called bioplastics, natural polymers from agricultural waste, and biodegradable plastics. The use of high-quality recyclable plastics. High taxes on plastics production. Pressure on corporations to stop using plastics altogether and invest in alternative packaging.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.